Hello everyone, welcome to HotCars, and you join me today with the 2021 Q60. Now I drive plenty of vehicles, plenty of them that I like the look of, but I don't think I've come across something in quite some time that is as effortlessly beautiful as this Q60. There's a lot of overstyled vehicles on the road today. Some of them I am particularly fond of, but it just looks like the designers got it right on the first go with the exterior sheet metal of the Q60. I would buy this thing on the looks alone, but there is plenty of things that I've discovered driving this vehicle for the past couple days that might make me lean in the other direction of not wanting to own this car. So we're going to get this thing on the road and I'm going to show you everything that I've discovered with the interior and what the driving experience is like, because personally I found this 3-litre twin turbocharged V6 Q60 to be a little bit confused in its identity. So let's get on the road and let me share with you everything that I mean by that. All right, on the road with the Q60, and on a personal note, I want to say that I have been quite keen to test out this vehicle because, as I said, I think the Q60 is simply one of the best looking cars on sale today. I don't think it tries particularly hard, and it's in a segment where you wouldn't see many vehicles like this on the road anyways. There aren't many individuals that are looking for a coupe as their singular vehicle. This is very much a second or third car to a lot of people. And there are plenty of elements that I enjoy when I test out an Infiniti, but a lot of areas where I think they lag behind substantially over their main rivals. So let's start with things that I like. And things that I like include the engine. We've got a 3-litre twin turbocharged V6 that has 300 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. And every time that I drive this engine, I always think they're underrating it, because 300 horsepower, I swear, it's got to be more than that. Even though the engine response is good, the exhaust is actually fairly bland. There isn't much coming out. There is a hint of turbo lag, but if you manually shift the 7-speed automatic or you keep it in sport mode, that can be well kept enough to the point where you can easily manage around that turbo lag. The Q60 is standard with all-wheel drive as well in Canada, and this is the only powertrain setup as it stands for the Q60. By itself, I think the transmission is actually pretty good at doing its job. It is a shame that if we are in a sports coupe, that we don't have paddle shifters. You have to use the stick down here. I mean, it does the same job at the end of the day, but how many vehicles that you get in that have paddle shifters and don't need them to add to their sporting character? I really think it would add to the sporting character of the Q60 if it had that system, but this is a point that I'm going to discuss a little bit later. Other aspects of driving: brakes are good, all-around visibility is fantastic, and the steering actually has a good amount of feel in high-speed situations. But on a highway, I'm not talking about racing here, but in town, I'm not getting that same feedback I was feeling on the highway, and actually feels a little bit elastic at slow speeds. The biggest issue that I have with this Q60 though is the ride quality, because it's obvious that it has been set up for driving engagements, and I don't think that's what this Infiniti is best at inherently. I know they want to be a more interesting brand to drive. If you're looking for a more refined and more subdued vehicle, the Lexus RC would probably be a better suit, but given how refined this engine is, and actually how quiet the overall driving experience is, if they put some kind of suspension system in here that was much softer, much more floaty, I personally think it would be a better setup for this vehicle's identity, because right now the ride is busy, and on the highway it's almost jittery the way it is so firmly sprung, and I'm just not sure that's what this Infiniti is meant to be. And given that the steering isn't as connected as I'd like, and there isn't a more engaging way to shift gears, again, it all carries over that I'm not sure this vehicle knows what it wants to be. Let's talk about the cabin for a minute though, because in the past I haven't been fond of the dual screen setup in Infiniti models, but this one works, and I think it's because it now has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard equipment, so you can keep the Apple CarPlay fixed on the top screen, and then for the lower screen have it fixed on the climate control. You can do a whole bunch of other system menu and options down here on the lower screen, but when it comes to just regular use, driving day to day, I want my music up here and I want the climate control down here. And you do have the little swivel wheel that only works for the top screen, and if you were someone like me, you don't really use because the screen is within reach, but if you were shorter, you had to have more effort to get up there and touch the screen. That's what you can use it for. Even though it is nice to have this supplementary system, it feels a little extraneous. For the rest of the interior though, it's not bad, but it's not brilliant either. We've got some nice leather on the seats and the steering wheel, and where I would rest my knees up against the door cards and the center tunnel is padded. I've got a little bit of headroom. I'm 6'4" though, so I know I'm outside of the 95th percentile of people. I wish the seat could mount lower, although like I said, I'm not part of the mass audience of car shoppers. I like that there's plenty of hard buttons, so when you get into this vehicle the first time, it's easy to sort out the most crucial settings, like you want your heated seat on, or you want the climate control to go as cold as you can get it, then all those buttons are immediately available. There isn't a heated steering wheel button though, and that's always a particular annoyance for someone like me. And obviously a day like today, I'm not going to be using it, but for the 11 months worth of winter that I lived through here in Alberta, you kind of wish there was a physical button always ready to go. And there's even a spot where it could live, right here by the cruise control button. As the Q60 is, at the end of the day, a 2+2 coupe, this isn't a vehicle with practicality at the top of the list. But it is good to note that with that second row of seating, if you're putting children or anyone else back there really, it is accommodating. There's lots of plush leather around the side of the vehicle, and in the center you've got some cup holders and a little bit of storage. If you never plan on using that space, it can fold down and just be a bench setup. And if you were to own this vehicle, the one button press on the driver's and passenger seat is a great feature if you do need to stuff things into the back seat with your hands full. The seat will move out of the way for you. The trunk isn't too bad either, and I like that the lift arms for the boot lid are integrated into the body as opposed to just being those hinge arms that would take up space. And there's not much technology to really point out with the Q60. Doesn't have the latest and greatest safety systems, doesn't have cooled or massaging seats. It doesn't have anything that, to me, stands out. It does feel a little bit past its best. So after driving this vehicle for a bit, I am split on it. I'm not sure if I like it or I do. And there's some elements that I think if they were improved upon, it would make for quite an appealing package. But because I find this vehicle lacking in an identity, it isn't sure which way it wants to go in terms of luxury or sportiness, that it really compromises the overall experience. And given that this doesn't feel like the newest vehicle in its space, and there's plenty of elements where it's lacking behind in terms of technology, the Q60 is great to look at, fairly nice to be in, but I'm not sure it's something I could personally own. So there you go. Those are my thoughts towards Infiniti's Q60. Overall, I like the vehicle, but it isn't too sure what kind of sports coupe it wants to be. I think it has so much built-in refinement that the harsh ride really lets down what I think could be a very luxurious coupe. It's not on the side of a Lexus RC, even though it isn't quite a BMW 4 Series either. So that's why, unfortunately, I feel a little confused with this vehicle, and I would highly encourage someone like you to go out and properly test drive a vehicle like this for an extended period of time if you want to own one. It might be exactly what you're looking for or not quite be along the same guidelines of which you want to follow. So those are all my thoughts towards the Q60. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of those other wonderful things. Really helps this channel out a lot. Hope to see you again on HotCars soon. Thank you very much for watching.